lookism and the halo effect is something that's not talked about a lot in society, where it goes both ways. So it's the overestimation of certain people, the underestimation of certain people on whatever metric. So whether the person's good looking and you overestimate certain things about them, or whether they're considered ugly and you're underestimating them. And it's not just looks, it can be anything. It's you're overestimating the 6'5" guy, underestimating the 5'2" guy, overestimating the rich person, underestimating the poor person, overestimating the celebrity with millions of followers. So, obviously they're posting or saying something important, but then the person with 200 followers, that's probably not credible because more people would agree if they were somebody important that I should be listening to. So it goes with a lot of different metrics of comparison, the halo effect and the lookism. How's it going?
Hi. I am not biting. I thought you were...
Oh, no, I'm just doing a YouTube video.
What
but
is this?
So this is aragonite. It's a
Oh.
stone from Spain.
Oh, wow. Polished, of course.
Yeah, all polished, and then the labradorite, selenite. Yeah.
All right. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, you're fine.
Okay.
So yeah, the lookism and the halo effect on how we judge people and how we determine someone's worth or what they're speaking about. And on a personal note, I was 19 when I dropped out of college, and at that time I wanted to go the modeling acting route. I was up in LA at college. That was part of the reason I chose LA for college. And I went to a private grade school, private high school. There was always college prep, like college. And so you just get into that mode of thinking that that's the next step. And I started learning more about the world once I was in college and the college debt, and I wanted to do other things. And one thing I really considered was the modeling and acting route. Now I've learned more about Hollywood and about myself and about what I actually want to do, and I definitely don't want to go the Hollywood route and start ranking up in that realm. But modeling on a smaller scale was still something in my mind, and so dropping out of college in LA and coming back to San Diego, it was something I would tell people, yeah, I could probably do modeling, and even outside of modeling with other things that I have in terms of skills or talents or whatever the case may be, traits. Looks in general could work to my advantage on whatever it is that I do. I'm a mixed race guy with green eyes. I'm 5'11", pretty good height. So with everything included, I started thinking of reasons of why college was not just necessary. That not only that, but my grandpa on my mom's side was in the Navy, so got houses in San Diego back when it was really cheap, and so I've got a comfortable place to live. And so just certain factors of about why it made sense to not just have to take on the college debt, other avenues I wanted to do. In high school, I was student body president. I spoke in front of the whole school doing the morning announcements and also certain events that I was leading. I had friends in every group, every clique, whether it was like jocks or band kids or whatever the stereotypical cliques are. I never had that kind of thing, and I was always friends with everybody, and I've always been social. And certain things that I want to do, whether with public speaking or music or stand-up comedy or continuing a YouTube channel, vlogging, or whatever I could get into at any point, I started to really think about what I wanted to do, and it didn't involve the college debt and going in that route. So knowing about the lookism and knowing about how people are in general and understanding myself in my own circumstance of being mixed race with green eyes and pursuing the modeling route, not just because on a whim one day I just thought, I'm just going to do that because I think that's what I am, but it's just being in social situations. You notice comments that women say about you, you notice your interactions with women, you notice it amongst other people, and so you start to develop the sense. And so something that I knew, and so when I would tell people about it, especially coming from like that private school background where everyone just goes to college, everyone says, well, you can't do anything without a degree, or it's risky, like you can't just take the risk and not have a fallback plan, and it's hard to get a job without a degree. And then this is what the funny thing that people do. They'll tell you all of that when you're talking about it and you're telling them, hey, well, like I could use looks to my advantage. And they would say, well, that's just kind of a weird or arrogant thing to say about yourself, and you need a fallback plan, you need a degree. It'll tell you all that when you're dropping out of school. When you come back to San Diego and you start actually finding success from age 19 when you did that and made the decision, all the way up till now to where I'm 27, it's like everything that I'm successful at and anything that I achieve, what they do, they're like the little kid. They kick the can down the road and they're just like, like if you didn't look that way, you wouldn't have that opportunity. Which is like, yes and no, but you can't just, you see, this is what people do. It's like they don't give you the credit on the intelligence or how you talk about things. or if you're blunt about something, it rubs them the wrong way. For like someone to call themselves good looking or to recognize it and to make a move off of it, like, hey, I feel like I could do modeling. I'm going to take these pictures with this photographer, make a portfolio, and send it in. So like for you to meditate on it and to make a decision, make a plan, and to like put it in action a couple years down the line, like people don't like your blunt interpretation on yourself and your ability to go make the move. So they just think it's kind of like an arrogant statement or whatever, and so they underestimate you, or they don't think that you're going to do it. They don't think there's proof. They don't think there's evidence. They think you're overestimating yourself. And then when you go and do it and find success from it, they justify it with, oh, well, like if you didn't look that way, you wouldn't have that thing. And again, this is what's funny. Like I admitted at 19 when I dropped out of college, I told them, yes, looks are an advantage. I don't need to be in college like the other guy needs to, or the other girl, or whatever. And the example I would use is a Sports Illustrated model versus a girl that's 300 pounds. You can't just say like, oh, well, college and everybody here is going to go on to do great things, like the high school or college graduation where the principal's speaking. It's a feel-good thing. I understand it. Everybody is equal on a human level in terms of soul worth, if you will, but individual situations just don't play out that way. And it's not just about like the modeling contract or whatever, but the example I used of the Sports Illustrated model versus the other girl that's being 300 pounds, it's like, even if she doesn't have that Sports Illustrated contract, guys are going to make sure that she's taken care of because like she's a hot girl, so like she's going to have any option of dating. A guy with money is going to take care of her. She's going to get employment opportunities. It's not even just like the cover of the magazine. It's so much deeper than that to just say to a classroom of kids in high school and college, oh, well, you're all going to go do great things, or study hard. The harder you work, the better you do in life. And I get it. It's a feel-good thing, and you don't want to scare people or depress people on, I guess, the reality of life, if you will, but I don't think it does anybody any good to talk that way either. And I think being a little bit more blunt sometimes helps people see the bigger picture a little easier and actually sets them up for a more successful life. So I think when it comes to lookism and the halo effect, it's good to acknowledge it in both ways, though. It's not to just, it's like the kid white kid, two rich parents, and they pay for all his private schools, put him in a good neighborhood, private grade school, private high school, and then he goes to medical school, and medical school is expensive, or law school too. So he's trying to be a doctor or lawyer, which is expensive for a lot of people. They have to pay their way through that. But this kid, he came from a rich white family that just paid all his medical school bills, law school bills, and so he became this doctor or lawyer that he never had to pay for. He just had to go and do the work, obviously. But then people say, well, he had the advantage, for having parents that paid for that. Yes, that is an advantage, but it's not like he didn't also do the work for that, and that he's not multifaceted in other senses. So I think it's good to acknowledge it in both ways. Like, yes, there's an advantage. Yes, there's a disadvantage that's subjective based on anyone's view at any point in time. But you can't just like not get what someone's talking about, or someone rubs you the wrong way. You don't get what they're saying. You don't get their character. You don't get what they're trying to convey. And then the second that they're successful at it, you just kick the can down the road and say, oh, well, if you didn't look that way, you wouldn't have that. It's like, even too, I've mentioned before on this channel where the TV show The Bachelorette, they contacted me for the Hannah Brown season, which was 2 years ago. I got contacted in 2018 for the 2019 Hannah Brown season. I was 24 in 2018 when they contacted me. And had I been selected for that season, they contacted me, I did my Skype interview. I knew they weren't going to pick me for a variety of reasons, but had I been picked for that season, the people that go on that show, especially now in the Instagram era, they blow up on Instagram and have a bunch of followers and money opportunities from that. So if you were to tell someone like, hey, like this TV show contacted me, and they're just like, oh no, like, 1 in a million chance, dude, but then if they pick you for the show, those same people that like know you in a certain way, like your family that, you live in the same house and they don't see you as this special person, all of a sudden it's like, oh, like, why is the world seeing that? Or like, they just kick the can down the road. Like, if you didn't look that way, you wouldn't have that. Like, it's not like, like, why didn't you tell me? Well, I did tell you, but you didn't believe me. You thought I was overestimating myself. or you didn't think there was proof or evidence. So it's good to keep in mind lookism and the halo effect. The halo effect, not just with looks, but also with money, status, followers, likes, and anything.